everyone. I'm Dr. Chelsey Hauge, and I'm so glad to be back here with you again. Today we're talking about positive opposites in language. So one of the things we know about working with kids is that the things that we say matter so much. And oftentimes in my work with parents and teachers and families, it's the simplest language shifts that have the biggest impact for kids in terms of helping them cooperate, helping them reduce their stress levels and really flourish and do well, which is what we all want for our little ones, right? So this is a tool that is relationship based. So what that means is that it really highlights, foregrounds, holds together, nourishes the relationship. And when I work with families and when I work with teachers and other people who are working with kids, the thing that I'm most concerned about is the relationship. And the reason for that is that all learning happens inside of that container. So once I break the relationship, then the children can't learn anything, right? They become too stressed. And if you remember back a couple of videos, we talked about stress in the brain and co-regulation and what happens when you flip your lid. And that's a Dan Siegel metaphor, right? You flip your lid and then you're operating just from the base of the brain and the limbic system, and you get your stress. There's stress behaviors and often big behaviors. And so relationship-based tools help us to shift our language. It's kind of like a frame to shift our language so that we can give ourselves a pathway to highlighting the relationship and give our kids the highest chance of being able to make sense of, take in, and learn with the information. So the relationship, super important. Let's talk about positive opposites. So positive opposites are really just the intention. Parenting or teaching with positive opposites in mind is really to say, I'm going to remove all negative language from my vocabulary and vernacular, and instead I'm going to use the positive language. So this does a couple of things. If you just close your eyes for a second, I'm going to say a few things, and I want you just to notice how you feel. And we're going to do this twice, okay? So here's the first one. Get your feet on the ground, close your eyes, and let's do this first one. Stop doing that. Oh my gosh, no. Don't cut that way. You're going to break it. Oh my gosh, careful. No, stop. Do not hit your sister again. We do not hit in this family. Don't do that. We do not do that. No, you have to do it this way. Stop. If you can't do this right, we're not going to do it at all. Okay. So just notice any sensations that came up or how that felt in your body. And here's the number 2, okay? Yeah. There you go. Cutting on the line. Great. Up. Yep. Use your both hands with scissors. One hand in scissor, one hand on paper. There you go. Nice. Crayons on paper. Up, hands on own body. You can do it. There you go. Yeah, more of that. Nice. Okay. So those were 2 examples for working with, little ones, elementary aged or younger, but you can imagine we could do the same for older ones. Content would be a little different. Tone might be a little different. Same idea though. And I'm curious about what came up in your body in each of those examples. For most people, when they hear a lot of no, not, and don't directions with a little edge in the voice, we start to feel like, I'm not doing the right thing. This isn't right. Oh gosh, I can't do it, etc., etc. Or maybe I'm just not even going to try anymore. I'm going to do something totally different. And that's how most kids feel too. And most of our children receive and hear much more about correction, direction, and instruction than they do about connection. And so our language, and when we give instructions to kids, our language is an opportunity to disrupt that. And instead to give them the positive language, the pro-social, so that they know what to do instead of what not to do. And there's many reasons for that. One reason is to generate a feeling of connection between the people and in your body. Another reason is that it's hard to listen and attend when you're just receiving connection or correction, direction, instruction all the time, especially with no, not, and don't. When kids hear no, not, and don't, so say you say, don't hit that other kid. Unfortunately, what most kids hear is the last part of the sentence, and so they hear, hit that other kid. And I just want to shift that. The other problem with that is that if I say don't hit that other kid, it's like, okay, can I pinch him? Can I push him? Can I burrow my finger into his belly? Whatever, you know? So I just want to eliminate that and make it super clear. It's probably clear to the adult, but I want to hold that for a lot of our kids, it might not be. So I want it to feel better. I want it to I want my direction to highlight what the child is already doing well. I want it to give them the pro-social so I can help kids start to learn what to do in social situations. So I might say, instead of don't hit that other kid, hands on own body. I might say, you know, instead of don't put your gum on the bottom of that table, gum goes in trash. Right? So I want you to give the kid the pro-social so that they know what to do, and that's called a positive opposite. Okay, so you're trying to get rid of that, and a lot of people will say, well, they'll say sort of one of two things. Either they'll say, oh, I can easily do that, or they'll say, no, I can't do that. Like my child has to respond to no. And I think most of the time there is a way to say, give correction, direction, or instruction in a positive way that feels better both to the adult and to the child, and that increases the child's capacity to take in the information. Now, our kids are highly attuned to our voices and to our tone, and when there's even a little edge in our tone, which sometimes there is, you know, we become stressed and our tone becomes edgy. What happens is if we, you know, no, not, or don't plus an edgy tone increases the likelihood that your child is going to flip their lid. Remember, once they flip their lid, they really cannot cooperate. They do not have the capacity to cooperate. They're operating from their brain stem and limbic system. And if you missed that video, it was the first one we did a couple back on co-regulation and brain-based research on how we learn to cooperate and how to reduce stress. So I want to transmit as many vibes as possible that are not stress, that are not going to be experienced as stress. And so positive opposites is one way to do that. So I want to challenge you. I want you to go back into your worlds, and I want you for the next period that you're with a group of kids, whether it's like for an afternoon you're going to share together, or whether you're parenting a child that you're going to be with, and you could pick like, I'm going to do this for this hour. Just let the instructions fall to 20%. Commit to not saying no or don't, and try to frame everything with a positive opposite. I'm going to give you some examples. So let's see. Stop spinning your plate. Plate stays still. Okay. So what's another one? Don't pinch your sister. Up, hands stay in pockets. Okay, so if you're building something or doing a project, stop fighting over the cardboard. Up, we always share the cardboard. Or we always ask our friends before we take the cardboard, you know. Appropriate to your setting, but what's going to happen is it's going to reduce the anxiety in your body that comes from having to be constantly correcting and directing and giving instructions, and so help you soften a little bit so that your kids are, you know, can be more in the relationship with you, and also so that they can be more likely to cooperate. So that is positive opposites. And, you know, I want to say it seems like a surface level shift, right? Just don't say not, no, or don't. But these are big shifts. They're language shifts, and language may live up here, but it's deeply rooted in the beliefs that we have about ourselves and our children and our worlds. And so give yourself some grace, enough of an opportunity to practice positive opposites, and just try to think like, what would the thing be that I could say that would help my child to develop the pro-social, knowing what they should do, Try shifting your mindset so that you're holding like they can't yet do this. They might actually not know what to do. So that we're just holding for them like, I don't know, maybe you don't actually know. So I'm going to tell you exactly what it is so that we're all clear on what's supposed to happen here. I would love to hear how Positive Opposites goes for you. Please get in touch. Helping you to build calm, cooperative families, children, communities, schools, and groups is my mission. I hope you have a wonderful day.